What's up? Episode 2 of ONLYANS. Aren't you guys excited? I really enjoy the comment section. I know that it makes me a loser and I shouldn't be reading my Instagram all day, but I'm basically alone in the country, so reach out, I guess. Like I promised, we're gonna do lead tin yellow. Let's go. So, there are two different kinds of lead tin yellow. I think the other one is called lead tin yellow light. This one is called lead tin yellow lemon. Now, you would think I would have done some research on what in the hell lead stanate is, but that's what this is. It's made of lead. Buy lead. Sorry, people in Europe that can't buy lead. I don't know how you guys paint, really, honestly. But so, toxic, remember? It's not absorbable through a healthy piece of skin, but if you're anything like me, my hands are covered in tiny cat scratches, which will absorb oil and lead through the skin. And also you get it on your hands and then you eat and smoke, and you're ingesting it. And it makes you go crazy. You don't die, you go crazy, which is worse. Maybe. It is a Series 5, so, it's going to be like a $45, $50 bottle or tube of paint. But I thought maybe because I'm not going to say very much about this, it's a lot like Naples Yellow. It'll be a good high value, high chroma lightener. So if you want to keep your mixture with a little bit extra chroma in it, add yellow instead of white, and you'll get there. I could also talk about the things that I keep referring to on the backs or sides of the bottle, depending on the brand. So I've got like a Gamblin, a Winsor Newton, Old Holland, and a Michael Harding. So those are more or less the brands that I use. Michael Harding puts it right on the front, what it's made of, the lead stanate. Winsor Newton puts it on the back, usually only in pigment code PV14, but all you have to do is either buy that painter's handbook that I keep referring to, or just Google what is PV14 pigment. Cobalt violet is a variety of a cobalt, so not a lot of information there, but when you get really complicated pigments, sometimes it's interesting. Old Holland puts it on the side. This one is synthetic ultramarine. Of course, it's synthetic ultramarine. All ultramarine is synthetic. We'll cover that when we get to ultramarine. And Gamblin puts it on the back. Oxides of cobalt, chromium, and aluminum for cerulean. So that's where you can find that information. And sometimes there's some other information on there that maybe you want to know what it means, like Lightfastness. Most of them either have a little box. I'm really not going to be able to show this to you, but do you see that little box that has the little line through it? That's a Lightfastness indicator. Or actually, no, that's a opacity. So Michael Harding makes it easy for you. Michael Harding says, he'll say if it's opaque, semi-transparent, or transparent. So lead tin yellow is opaque. Gamblin, should practice this. Opaque says opaque. Winsor Newton just has that little half thing, which means opaque, I think. And friggin' Old Holland always has the least amount of information ever on their stuff, so I don't know. There's also a Lightfastness on some of them, which will have a number next to it, or excellent or average or whatever. For instance, alizarin crimson is going to be low or bad or something like that, because alizarin crimson is notoriously not Lightfast. Oh, but unfortunately, I have the Old Holland one. So we'll never know. Or it's not even real. See, this is why we read things. It's quinacridone. I should have known better. We'll talk about alizarin when I get there. Yeah. So this one, Lightfastness 1 for the... It just means when it's exposed to light, does it fade over time? And how quickly? They usually say what they're bound with. Safflower oil, in the case of this cobalt violet. Definitely linseed oil for Michael Harding and Gamblin. And who knows with Old Holland, because they just don't tell you anything. And that's usually all the information that you find on the side. Sometimes, with Michael Harding, because we love him, it says tint power, average. That's nice to know. What if you're going to buy a phthalo and you're like, why is this overwhelming all of my piles? Oh, and extra special love to you. Pigment, inorganic. So, Lead Tin Yellow Plus, information on paint bottles for y'all. It is episode 2, ONLYANS. This is going to be fun. I did not buy lapis lazuli. It was in my cart. $80 for a tube of paint is too much money, especially when we have ultramarine and it's a perfectly good replacement. So I'll talk about lapis lazuli and ultramarine when I get to them. But I did buy some new fun pigments, so we're going to get to experiment together. See you tomorrow.